Hi guys, welcome to Make 2 and a Sims 4 speed remodel. I am going to be remodeling an apartment in the Culpeper house in the Spice District of San Myshuno. And the reason I've chosen this apartment is because we have a Let's Play series where we've got a couple of Sims living in this gray building to the right. And the apartment that I want to remodel is meant to be for a couple of other Sims in that Let's Play series. And as you can see, it's literally right across the alley from that other building. And I've got an idea for this apartment to be for a couple of guys, bachelors, if you will. The problem is that the original apartment given to us by the game is only a one-bedroom apartment, and also that bedroom is in this huge, weird space with the bay window. It's nice for the bedroom to have a bay window, but it's just not the most efficient use of this apartment space, in my view. So what I'm going to try to do is make it a two-bedroom apartment for the two Sims who want to live here, and then just reconfigure some of the space to make a little more sense for a two-bedroom apartment. So you're going to see me playing around with some of the bedroom shapes and sizes as I figure things out. I think you saw already at the beginning of the video that I moved some of the kitchen counters into that big carpeted bay window room, and that's where I want to put the kitchen, obviously, and the living area and the dining area, and then I'm going to have the bedrooms back in this space with the hardwood floors. So I'm just kind of playing around with like configurations of the bathroom and possible closets for one of the bedrooms, and figuring out where the doors go. But yeah, that's basically the idea behind this remodel. So in addition to the layout, one of the things I want to get started on is the floors and walls. So I'm just going to choose one of the flooring options from the cats and dogs pack. I think that looks really nice. And then figure out where some of the furniture goes. I'm trying to remember what I was doing at this point. I definitely don't want to go for all new furniture. I do like some of the furniture that originally came with this apartment, like the kitchen counters as you saw. I'm just reusing those. But I would say overall I'm going to be keeping, I don't know, only about 20% of the furniture that originally came with the apartment. Because I have Sims in mind who are going to live here, and so I have a decorating scheme sort of in mind. They're not going to be rich dudes, they're straight out of university, but I do want them to live in a place that looks, you know, welcoming and nice and not like they are living on a budget exactly. They're young professionals in the city, they can afford to splash out on a few things here and there. And obviously, when you're living with a roommate, it totally helps keep the costs down. So for these guys, I'm going for a kind of wood and metal look to things. So you can see that Chesterfield couch and the coffee table have the same echoes of wood and metal and glass together, and the dining table and the metal chairs, they also have some of that going on. Just trying to figure out the right wall colorings. I also want the moldings of the top and bottom of the walls to match. You know, the moldings are the trim at the top and the bottom. Sometimes when you have certain walls different in the same open space, they don't quite match up and it bothers me. So for instance, the orange walls here have a trim of white at the top, but I want the kitchen to be exposed brick. So I want to make sure that things aren't going to look too weird. But I think I've settled on a sort of neutral color. I don't want the walls to overwhelm the furniture, so I'm going for a sort of pale beige-ish color. Of course, the starting version of this apartment is what the game gave to us to begin with. Like, you go into San Myshuno in the city living pack, and this is the apartment that you get. But the kitchen space is not going to remain completely open. I'll have some changes for that later in the video. So I think I've made the bathroom a little bit bigger from the original version, and that's again because there are 2 people living in this apartment, and so I don't want their bathroom to be too cramped, and also because I want there to be room for a washer and dryer for them to use. Maybe in a city apartment you can say that the basement has laundry for all of the tenants, but I also like the idea of the laundry pack being put to use in this apartment, so therefore they're getting their own washer and dryer in their bathroom. Okay, so I have settled on the beds in the bedrooms, and now I'm just going to do the walls. I mean, maybe you could go for a standard color of wall all throughout the apartment, but just to give a bit of personality to the rooms. I mean, it's The Sims, why not? So this room over here is going to be the bigger bedroom. I guess whoever is going to live here will have a greater share of the rent. And they've got an accent wall off the back of the bed here, but again, I just had to go for colors where the moldings and trimmings matched at the top and the bottom. Because the bedrooms are on the smaller side, I'm going for furniture that has, I guess you would say, lighter, cleaner lines so that they don't overwhelm the space too much. And the same goes for the wardrobes. There isn't quite enough room in the bedrooms to build out actual closet space, but these skinnier wardrobes I think work fine. And just a bit of wall decoration here. I guess I imagine the person who's gonna be in this room to be a fan of random posters, enough to set up a bit of a frame cluster on his wall here. He likes sports, video games, and anime, I guess. If only choosing rugs in real life was as easy and inexpensive as it is in Sims. We moved into a house over a year ago and we still have only managed to put 1 rug in the whole house because I'm just way too picky. And also I think my taste in rugs is a little bit expensive, like the kinds of styles and textures that I'm drawn to are on the more expensive side. So it's just taking us a while to decide for sure what we want. But they do finish a space off really well, and so I can't help thinking that having a house without rugs just makes everything look really bare and kind of cold. Okay, so I think that the bathroom and the bedrooms are pretty well laid out. I'll have a few more finishing touches of like clutter and things like that to add to them later in the video, but yeah, they're pretty good. And I don't know if you noticed, but I put a connecting door to the bathroom from the bigger bedroom. It's just the sort of privilege that the person who owns that bedroom has to be able to go directly into the bathroom from their room instead of stepping out into the hallway. I've lived in apartments that were laid out like that before, and again, as long as the person who is living in the bigger bedroom is paying a fairer share of the rent, then it's all good. For the curtains in the common area, I'm going for both black and white curtains. I think that is kind of a bachelorish choice. And similar to the furniture in the bedrooms, I want the accent furniture in the living room to be on the lighter, smaller side, again, so that you have more of a sense of space and openness, and it's not too overwhelmed by big pieces of furniture. Okay, so like I said before, the kitchen was not going to be totally open. I'm just closing it off a little bit with the bits of wall here. It is still, of course, open to the apartment, but it's just a bit more compartmentalized so that there's more of a divide in space. And I think I'll also be changing the flooring of the kitchen later in the video so that, again, there's still a clear sense of where the kitchen is. And just tucked away in this little corner, I'm thinking I'll put the desk with the computer, and both roommates can share that. Yeah, I'll play around with the desk and the computer a little bit later in the video as well. Okay, so it's time to start adding some clutter. I feel like a little bamboo potted plant is about as much as a couple of bachelors can reasonably be expected to take care of if they're, you know, busy working and having social lives and whatnot. And just adding some stuff to the kitchen, like the range hood here. I really like the lit one that comes from, I think was it the ice cream pack? I can't remember the exact name of it, but yeah, it comes from that pack and I like it because it comes with a light. And I'm adding some upper cabinets. I'll be adding light under the cabinets as well to provide a bit more lighting of the counters. Salt and pepper shaker on the table. I'm just realizing that I've got this huge empty entry hallway, so I want to fill that with maybe a couple of knickknacks here and there. I think later I'll be putting in a table. I'm just starting to color coordinate things. Okay, here I go, changing the flooring in the kitchen. I think because the walls are different, they're exposed brick compared to wallpaper, and the walls are closing off the space a little bit. I think it makes sense to have the floor be different as well. So I like this pattern here with the lines. I think the brown offsets the wood of the floor in the common area, and the wood of the cabinets. Just putting a little trophy display case next to the TV because one of the Sims who is going to be living in this apartment is an athlete. Oh, there's that table, which by the way is in the shelf section of the store of build buy mode. I'm pretty sure it does not appear in the tables sections of the living room. It only appears in the shelf section. I don't know why. But I wouldn't have found it if I hadn't been looking in shelves, and yet I think it works perfectly as an entryway console table. I'm not sure how much time our Let's Play series will actually spend in this apartment. It kind of depends on the characters and how they want to go, but I just like the idea of trying a speed remodel. Sometimes building a house from scratch is just a lot of work, and remodeling an apartment is a little bit less work, so I thought it'd be a fun video to do. Yeah, so I think the apartment is looking pretty good now. Just putting a couple of utility mats down. I like to stand on those when I'm standing and washing dishes for a really long time. And I think the next thing I want to do is figure out, I don't like this desk exactly. I don't like how the chair kind of juts into the entryway of the kitchen. So what I'm trying to do is instead use these countertops as a kind of desk. I think I'm gonna end up using like a bar stool or something as the chair. I had a setup like this in the university house where our bachelors lived before this apartment, so I guess it makes sense that they have the same setup in their apartment after leaving their university house. I'm just adding some more lights around. Here are those under cabinet lights that I mentioned before, just to illuminate the kitchen a little more. So now I'm just gonna show some eye level shots of the apartment so you can see what it looks like from the Sims point of view. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this speed remodel. Please let us know in the comments what you think. And if you are new to our channel, feel free to subscribe because we've got plenty more Sims 4 on the way. Thanks for watching.